the honor of playing very different characters between Cliffjumper and Bruticus, you know, one being the young, brave, run out there and get it done, and then the much more, the five combiner team Bruticus coming together. They're very different characters. So can you speak to how you kind of brought that out differently and how you kind of approached the two characters?
Well, I like to really get into my role. I did a lot of yoga, and despite my best efforts, I could neither transform into a car or a robot. I did pull several muscles, and one day I was stuck for 2 days in the lotus position, and I now have prosthetic feet. I'll tell you what, as I said before, they're very different roles. They're a lot of fun to play. Can I talk about jazz? One thing that you'll get a treat. We're not the only, obviously, voice talent, although we could have been. My cohort in this, and one of the things that made this a lot of fun is, and I'm sure there's fans of him, because I'm a fan of his, Jazz is played by Troy Baker. And despite some of you not liking this, he and I are friends. And we actually got to, they did a great thing with this, is rather than, Greg was talking about earlier about a lot of time we're in the booth alone to do this work. They brought us in together because we know each other, and they thought, you know, these two have to run around in this campaign, let's have them interact vocally as well. And I think that really lends to the feel of the, you know, the heart of this, to the fun factor too, because I wish you could play the outtakes, but you'll never hear those, because social services would take my children away. But you know, it's one of those rare times when the developer says, hey, you know, the dynamic between these two is what it is, you know, in life. Let's bring that in and bring that into the room and then to the game. And I think, I mean, he was great. I mean, the voices that he put on was just fantastic. In fact, I gotta tell you, I actually like Jazz better than that. I was like, oh, I want to say, I'm Jazz too. I'd do that. Come on, Cliffjumper. Why'd you have to pay him? Cliffjumper, let's do this. Doesn't look very safe, Jazz. Oh, come on, get your ass up here, boy.
Can you imagine this guy in the studio? Can you imagine trying to do a half-hour recording? Oh boy.
Yeah, we don't get a lot done.
So we have Bruticus now. Bruticus was the big hulking five combiner. You know, can you speak about your part as Bruticus a little bit? And
you know, the great thing about that, he's just raw, just anger. I mean, he's the guy in the 405 looking at Grimlock, going, "What are you gonna do about it?" You know, I mean, just the violence and the fun of him, just being someone big, but who's kind of, you know, he's still an underling. He's not one of the. He still has to take orders, but just I don't know how to put it. You know, it's always fun to play a character that there's an obstacle, and like, you know, some characters that I play a lot are like one's like, we have to figure out a way to get around this. Brody's like, let's just crush it. And you're like, oh, okay, you know. And so there's some, I love the simplicity of that character. You know, when you're just playing somebody like that, and you know, vocally it's vocal gymnastics, and you know, just nice cup of tea at the end of the day. It's always lovely.